place I'd rather be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. To the finish line. Everywhere you look, he's right on time. With the silence there, raging through the open air, he's without care. Everywhere you look, he's right on time. Moving to the beat. Can you feel the heat when the tires kiss the street?
I feel the need for speed. Like into Dracer, I retrace He gives me what I need. Oops. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll just put it that way. Okay, I'm done posting. And so I guess we can start the stream now. Wait, I just need to do something real quick. Okay, yo, what's up, Pedro? What's up, Raito? Hope you have a good stream. Can't take too long going cinema. Oh, yeah, hell yeah, dude. Have a great fucking time. Let's get it. And yeah, I mean, it's fine. This stream will take a fucking while, really. So, I mean, I said that, but it might not. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just waiting a bit. You know what? No, fuck it. Let's just start, even if there's not many people. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, Meta. Just thanks for coming in as long as you could. As long as you can, really. It's all good, really. I'm just streaming. Like, as you know, the stream, you can catch it up. It'll stay on the channel. I won't delete it. Okay. So, what will be today's stream about? As you saw, it'll be simply about the PXG match, analyzing why people have felt that it feels so ass, giving actual reasons outside of just agenda, outside of just oh, I don't like how this, I don't like that Rin lost or whatever. We'll be truly getting into the writing. Why has the writing felt so off compared to before? Analyzing what made the writing good, quote unquote good, at least what made people fall in love with the writing before, and what doesn't work nowadays. So, to try to make it something pretty structured, I try to just go a bit of a summary of what we'll be going through about. So first, we'll give quickly a quick reason why does the match feel so rushed, yet at the same time it feels so slow. Why do we feel so stuck in this match, even though it's so long? Why do we feel so stuck? After this, we'll be going through all of the setups that have been poorly done or avoided, which will be, for example, as you guys might have joined in, for the guys who might have joined in yesterday's stream, I'll basically be talking about things that sort of tie into the rock, paper, scissors structure that I talked about, where it was set up but then just completely discarded, even though it was, I mean, we'll get into it anyway. After that, we'll actually be using that as a transition into the talented learner versus genius bit. Why does it not work as best? Why was it set up? Why does it, and especially with the ending of the match, for those who have seen the leaks, why does it feel so off? Right? It felt useless. So that. After that, we'll be talking about Rin's characterization in the PXG match and Isagi's, because they're really important to understand also why does this match feel so off. And lastly, we'll be going over the Kaiser and Isagi duo and the sort of issues that this duo has. You could almost put the Kaisagi duo thing into the part 2, but we'll be talking about it specifically, so we'll get into it. Would you ever make a video on this match, on why this match has been worse in the video format at some point? Yeah, I think I'll be like I'll be basically doing this stream, and if you guys enjoy the stream, if you guys feel like the stream deserves its own video, I might make an actual video about it. Right now I'm just kind of testing the waters with this stream, seeing how it goes, if you guys agree, and basically debating a bit with you guys, and then seeing how that goes if I make an actual video about it. That'll be the point of the stream, really. And wesh la truite! Whoa, pull up, wesh la truite! We got fucking truitos in the chat. I actually met up with the guy, he's fucking handsome as hell, I gotta say, goddamn. Cool guy. And so yeah, let's get into it, shall we? So, why does the match feel so rushed, yet slow at the same time? The biggest reason why, and it'll be quick really, it'll be quick to talk about this, but the core of the problem is the match has felt slow from the moment that we basically got into Rin's arc. Now, it's not to say that Rin's arc, like, without saying that it was poorly handled. Why did most of the complaints rise after Kaiser's goal and when we went into Rin's goal, etc.? Because that's when most of the complaints started. The answer is simple, is that when Rin's part started, we basically got into a writing decision by Kaneshiro, where he had decided to basically put a lot of focus on Rin, Kaiser and Isagi as a trio, they're basically their rivalry during the fight, but not actually developing other storylines. And this is the entire problem with generally why this match has felt so off. So I'll just be going over specific chapters to show a bit of this, where we'll see that at the end of each chapter, basically, we will have a quote-unquote aura farming panel of of Kaiser, Rin, and Isagi together. So I just came back from home, so that's why the stream doesn't really feel that, that setup where I'm kind of ad-libbing stuff. So I couldn't really prepare it in time. But okay, so wait, it's 269, 282. So let's just go over it really quickly. So once Rin's chapter started, we basically got into the Rin thingy, where he started to evolve. Nothing special here. The big problem comes at the moment when Isagi and Kaiser comes to stop him, and that we then are talked with this, the moment everything started really, was with this whole chapter of rock, paper, scissors, where we were told that there's a power balance between the three of them. Now, we get the first panel of them basically aura farming together, nothing special. The problem is that right after that, we then again get the chapter with this time Rin breaking the balance, which I'll talk about later. And after that, again, we have another chapter where it's all about Rin versus Isagi. Nothing special here, it was to be expected. The real problem really arises after this, where we then get into the moment where Isagi starts to basically be fucking cucked out of his mind, right? Isagi becomes sort of useless in the match, and most of the match, the problem with most of this, is that the match then turns into purely about, Isagi basically being a fucking bum, right? And the problem is that all of the chapters keep piling and piling on. Oh shit, I didn't see the chat, my bad. I'll catch the stream when I can. See ya, Meta. I say he started giving Kaiser his evolution and the reward and one blah. Okay, so I'll talk about that later. Yo, what's up, Iris? Yeah, I'm back. Just chilling. And what's up, Mamka? So to get back to topic, the real why does it feel so slow by then is that we then spend at least, let's talk. We have 1, 2 chapters, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, basically we have 5 chapters which are all about Isagi's whole despair and introducing the talented learner versus genius plotline. And so we spend, and the problem with those 5 chapters is that all of those 5 chapters are purely dedicated in the big part into Isagi's despair, quote unquote, right? And then we get the resolution to that whole despair thing, where we then get Isagi coming in. And the problem is that you would expect that this would be a real turning event in the match, where the whole rivalry between Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin would finally have a sort of conclusion. On top of the fact that we have gotten 5 chapters straight of Isagi despair, so readers would naturally expect Isagi to finally pull through and show off who he is, yada. But the problem is, as we all know, the answer to this whole Isagi despair is actually just again to cycle back into the Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin power balance. So we basically had, or rather I should go on paint, it will be easier to use. So we basically had Rin's entire goal, Rin's entire build-up, which was about Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin. Then we go into the Isagi despair arc, which is all about Isagi's whole despair and how he's supposed to rise up to the situation. But then again, the resolution to that Isagi despair is again going back into the Isagi, but this time Isagi and Kaiser. Again, Isagi x Kaiser. So really, again, fighting versus Rin, right? Versus Rin. And the problem is the entire rest of the match will then be, like, we're at what? We're at chapter 283, and then all the way, so almost, also 9 chapters, so 9 weeks straight, right, those 9 weeks straight, right after this, will again be about Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin. So ever since Rin's goal got started, or basically like right after the Kaiser goal, we headed straight into purely a fight about Rin, Kaiser, and Isagi, which was then followed through with Isagi basically falling out of the entire thing and a whole panel of despair where the expectations were that Isagi would finally break the mold, Isagi would finally surpass them, only to then being again brought back into the entire thing. And so at the end of the day, the entire problem, why does it feel so long, is that this match, all of this, ever since Rin's goal got started, which was, or rather after Kaiser's goal, which was in chapter 268, ever since chapter 268, ever since this page specifically, and yet Isagi and Kaiser chemistry is still incomplete, so I can destroy them. Ever since that, the entire match has been centered purely about Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin without necessarily giving attention to the other storylines. So no matter how long it took, or every time something of importance was there in the story, we would immediately get back into the Kaiser Isagi formula, and so it would feel slow because that storyline specifically never actually changed. The formula of them fighting all 3 together never changed, and the storylines surrounding it were devoured by that storyline of Kaisagi Rin, with them never having really any sort of impact. And so, for example, we have the storyline of Nanase, who wanted to survive, who got ambidextrous thing to survive. We have the storyline of Karasu and Hiyori. We have what else storylines? We have, of course, the storylines of Tokimitsu and other characters who want to survive. But, and so many more, so like the Kunigami, the Ness, etc. But those actual storylines never got any sort of attention narratively. They might have gotten attention on the field. So, for example, as we talked about the power balance, the idea of what the power balance would be about, it would be that the power balance would be broken down by a 4th person, right? Who will be someone beside us a 4th piece who tries to steal the leading role. Problem is, the actual 4th piece, even though we'll get to it, wasn't actually an actual person, but anyway, the problem is that the 4th piece was supposed to be Shido, as we were then being told, but Shido literally got only 2 panels, okay? 3 panels, and we don't actually get to see Shido's entire thoughts, we don't get to see Shido's character. All that we get is Shido being here, and Hiyori basically telling us, oh yeah, the demon is set loose on the battlefield and he's hungry for the pleasure of a goal. But we never actually get any characterization, any thoughts, any feelings from Shido. So all that we get is basically, oh, the situation is tense, but then we immediately go back into a Rin monologue. So even in a goal that was set up to be led with a fourth person breaking the mold, we did get nothing except Rin, and again Isagi then later on into the goal, right? So that's the core reason, and I'm spending time saying the same thing. I know it might be annoying for some, but that's basically the core reason why this match has felt so slow while taking so much time, because the core power structure never was changed in any way. And if it's never changed in any way, it's not necessarily the problem. The problem is that it took the entire narrative focus without ever letting any other characters besides Kaiser, Isagi and Rin have an actual impact on the narrative. We never got any real development of characters outside of Kaiser, Isagi and Rin, and that's the core problem. The best example being Charles. Charles was hyped up as the main PXG player to be wary of up until Rin's awakening. And the entire match is supposed to be the premise of how PXG tries to awaken Charles. That was the setup given to us via PXG's little talk after their match, really. So, where is it said? Listen up everyone, no, it's right before. You came here to study... No, where is it? Oh yeah, the reason I joined the Neo Egoist League was to develop you, Charles. But then the thing is, we never actually get any sort of development from Charles. We never get to know, first off, we never got to know his, at the time, we never got to know his ego type. We never got to know how does he work as a person. We never got to know his actual mechanisms. We only got small panels of, oh, Kaiser, etc. And his quote-unquote awakening doesn't actually land. It was supposed to be the big thing, right? But all that we got as an awakening was him literally shuddering after Rin said that. But we don't know, why does he shudder? Why does it trigger an awakening for him, right? All that we get is basically just, oh yeah, bury your soul to me, you will be tripping, Kaiser, then here comes my nastiest pass, good Charles, let him guide you. And that's really it, you're not the only one who's crazy here, Rabona Cross. So, narratively, Charles' awakening doesn't really land because we don't get that much time with him, we don't get that much exposition on what this awakening does to his psyche. All that we get is more on the technical stuff. We just get him doing a Rabona cross, which honestly isn't even that crazy when you consider the fact that he was doing some outside curve passes like it was his bread and butter. So really, all that we get is a simple Rabona cross that comes from out of nowhere with no explanation on how it was developed, how his psyche was like changed via his encounter with Rin, etc. And so that's why. So even Charles, one of the characters who was supposed to be the big dogs of PXG, doesn't even feel like an actual character. Like, you could remove Charles, like, let's forget the Loki thing, and just if we took the match in a vacuum, just look at the match specifically, you could put any player here, and it wouldn't change anything about the narrative value of the match, really. It could be anyone here. Just, oh my god, he created he did a Rabona cross. OMG, that's a high level technique. But we don't, like, in terms of characters, we don't have anything specific, we don't have anything special coming from Charles. Like, it could have been any cross right here, and it wouldn't matter, because the Rabona cross doesn't even really do that, like, the Rabona cross doesn't even do anything really in terms of purely football sense, right? Like, you could say, oh my god, it was unexpected, but the Rabona cross itself isn't even what's highlighted. We just get told that, oh, he lured us in, then made a long cross pass, what incredible technique. The one who read that pass and is reacting, but the Rabona cross itself has no actual importance. He could have just made a normal cross here. And so, really, that's the problem. Like, Charles as a character, and his whole awakening, etc., how he was handled, is the best way to describe this, why this match is the way it is. you have an entire focus on Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin, and all of the other characters become blank states without any real development, without anything to show for themselves, and so we're just stuck in a constant power struggle between Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin, and they hog the entire attention without necessarily providing any sort of writing that genuinely feels fulfilling. But you know what? That's a subjective thing. Some people could love the Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin thing. That doesn't matter. What I'm saying right now, at the core of it, is just this match has felt so long because they just hogged all of the attention without really ever breaking the mold, and all of the characters on the side have just been totally devoured. That's basically it. I think I can end there. Let me just read the chat. Yeah, I'm French, Kirito. Yeah. Which is sad. He could have been the Yuki of this game, scared of losing his chance here. Yeah, 100%. There could have been a lot of things done, but really, there just hasn't been. So Charles was only relevant to the first goal, I guess. Yeah, basically, and that's why I say like the PXG match has felt long only after the the complaints about the PXG match only really started ever since Rin's goal, right? Because we've just been wasting, quote unquote, wasting time for a rivalry that doesn't really show much stuff. That's basically the core of it. I mean, I could go more into details, but I don't want to, and I think this has spoken for itself. Do you guys want me to move on, or is there still something you guys want me to explain about this part? Like any questions, etc. before we move on? Could have been the Chappa unspoken weekend. Yeah, I mean, there like Chappa. I talked about it last stream, but Chappa is just a shame because it's a clear sign of Kaneshiro clearly had other plans, but decided not to go through with them. No questions. Okay, let's just move on then. Yeah. Okay, so the setups that are poorly done, avoided. So for this, we'll be going through the match. Well, I'll have this small border here, and we'll basically be going through the match. And basically listing the setups, listing bit by bit the setups that have been given to us, but not really gotten any type of good enough closure, setups that have been avoided, stuff like that. And well, that's the best way to really show why this match has felt, again, why it has felt so long and also so underwhelming. So, let's start with the setups prior to the match, because this is important. So first we have the fact that Loki got into the nail to have Charles awaken and use him. So this is the first setup because it ties into what we talked right before, but we'll get into it. Secondly, we have the match is supposed to be Rin and Shido versus Kaiser and Isagi. So those are the two main setups for the match before we actually get into it. As we go on, we will highlight more about this. Of course, we have the Kunigami selfless thing, which will actually be resolved pretty easily, quote unquote, pretty fast, even though the execution itself doesn't really matter. But as you see, most of the match was really about Isagi and Rin being used at the same time, right? At least that's what the match had set up to be. It was a big, no matter what anyone says, it's supposed to be a big setup of the match, really. It was what most people were hyped about. And again, we spent one chapter already from the get-go, another chapter again highlighting this. Then we have the Charles awakening. Yeah, I'll leave the fact that Charles is supposed to be a big player from PXG, that's fine. Oh yeah, we have the Isagi versus Charles fight mentally. After this, not much. not much here to talk about. We have then some Rin glazing, some Nanase. Oh yeah, Nanase survival and being used as and being Rin's property. And also his ambidextrosity. Dexterous. Is that how you write it? I don't know, man. I'll just bullshit through. Okay, so nothing special here. So then, for the first goal, we get the setup that it's all about. How can I say? Here it was fine. Honestly, most of it was fine here because we got the whole. Oh yeah, Charles is supposed to be important. At the moment Charles gets free, up immediately goal goes in, right? Kind of sad that Shido's goal was a bit underwhelming for most people. But you know what? It's fine. I mean, it's fine. It's not fine for Shido fans, but you know what? Whatever. Okay, so another thing. So again, we get more development on that. Loki gun to the nail to have Charles awaken and use him. Again, once Charles matures, the day when I surpass you won't be far off, right? Again, huge plot point, at least at the beginning of the match. It was supposed to be something big, right? After this, we then get into the whole self versus talented self versus world type thing. Also, here we got into the fact that Isagi would need to know about the ego types of other characters. So we have Charles, Kunigami, and Rin who are needed. Charles, we will never actually get what his ego type is. At least we will get it way later, and this won't actually matter at all for Charles. It's basically Isagi will never really use Charles's entire thingy, like his ego type. And then we get into the quote-unquote what might be the conclusion to Kunigami being selfless. What we basically get is that it's concluded, at least so far in the match. At least, no, the match has fucking ended in the league, so it is what it is. But basically the only conclusion we got is that Kunigami isn't actually selfless. Kunigami's ego is still alive. And it's not talked about in any way, shape or form more than that. So you could argue that there is more to come, but it still feels really underwhelming when it was something that was set up prior to the match. If it was something that was foreshadowed, because that's the difference. If it was something that was foreshadowed, told to us slowly but surely through the match, people would have no problem with it, because it would be something where you would not expect it to come directly into play into the match, right? Similarly to how, for example, when Rin and Bachira interacted, Bachira hinted at the fact that Rin would have a monster different from the one of Isagi, and we thought, we kept that in mind, but we didn't really think much about it, right? Because it was quote-unquote foreshadowed, it wasn't a core setup for the match itself. Loki just ran around, focused on passing to Rin, felt very forced and out of character for him. I don't know, could have gotten something with him and Charles. Yeah, and don't worry, we'll be getting into that as we run down through the match. We'll see specifically how was it handled so badly. So just for the Isagi versus Charles fight, it then transforms itself in the end into a Hiyori versus Charles fight, and we don't really get to see Isagi, but you could argue that it's supposed to be, Isagi's basically using others, so it doesn't really matter, etc. So we get a bit of Raichi involvement, which was pretty nice. So nothing there. Oh yeah, I also forgot, there's supposed to be the Kunigami versus Shido storyline. And this one has still gotten no real conclusion yet, but we'll get into it. So then we have the Isagi 2-gun volley, nothing special. The important part for the Isagi 2-gun volley is that we're told Isagi's 2-gun volley can still has more to show via the way that he can use fake shots. Fake the goalkeeper, to be specific. Which will then, and let's just conclude this. Let me just put a cross on the things that are concluded. So for this, we never actually got in any way, shape, or form any conclusion or any showing of this ability of Isagi. I mean, whether someone blocks you on the left or the right, if you make a mid-air feint and stagger your timing, you can dodge them and shoot. Even the goalie will have telling trouble when you will shoot. So this part of the two-gun volley was never at all exposed, shown, or developed in any way. So one of the, again, and it was supposed to be a big thing, right, for Isagi. And it was just simply forgotten and put to the side. Okay, now we get into the parts that are really interesting. We get about Isagi feels, or rather he, how can I say, in the best of my team, then we'll, if I can pull off a hat trick, Isagi, let's put it as Isagi thinks that he needs, and again, he needs to score a hat trick to surpass Rin and generally like become the best, etc. Right? Then with just one point, if I can pull off a hat trick, I'll surpass Rin and become number one in the Neo-Egoist League. So now we'll get into that right after. So then we have the Kaiser thing. We then get into Charles being unmotivated, which again ties into the fact that Logi wants to make Charles awaken. So not great development so far, but still interesting nonetheless, because we get some characterization from Charles. We get some hints of Charles like having some problems here and there. Then we get into the Kaiser backstory. Not much, because this part can be analyzed, like it needs to be analyzed as Kaiser and etc. Like as Kaiser as a character. Okay, so not much there. We then get we still got results. Nothing special here. Oh yeah, we do have the I mean, this won't. I won't write it because we need to wait. But it'll be about the whole world is watching and Kaiser getting the offer from Real and losing his throne on the team, right? So not much. Then we have Kaiser's whole awakening. Nothing much here. I mean, you could count the the Karasu and Hiyori thing, but we'll get into it. Because so far, let's just say that it was something people wanted, but the match at least never quote unquote set it up, right? So we'll let it be for now and talk about it some other time. Then we have the Kiora thing. Oi, oi, oi. Kiora thing, we'll talk about it. So then we have here the Kaiser Isagi thing. Nothing special here, really. It's fine, I think. It could have been developed way better. Again, the Charles thingy, which ties into the Loki gun to the nail to awaken Charles. So nothing special here. One thing I'll say, already, one of the big setups that had been totally forgotten is where the fuck is Kaiser and Shido are basically totally forgotten. They just don't appear much. They're not really of any importance in Kaiser's goal and the lead up to it, really. So doesn't really impact at all the storyline. The Kunigami and Shido storyline is there, but doesn't really matter. Isn't really developed. Again, Isagi versus Charles and Hiyori versus Charles is kind of there though. The Isagi versus Charles fight. Nanase's survival and being rinsed properly is totally just not being developed at all. Isagi's two-gun volley still has more to show, not developed. Isagi needs to think to score, he needs to score a hat trick. Not that much developed, but it's fine. Then we finally get a bit of Rin and Charles. Then we have, of course, the Kaiser goal. Not much here. That was a new setups at least aren't created, etc. Yeah, where is Ferry? Yeah, we need Ferry right here. Okay, now let's get into it. Now, after this goal, what do we have? We have the fact that now we are being set up for Kiora to not even know who he will side with until the moment comes, which never comes. They just put a fucking big ass fat X on it. Kiora never ever got any importance after this, and this quote, which set it up for Kiora to then at least show any sort of importance and choose again maybe a losing side, etc. Just never was developed in any way. Now, secondly, the big fact, the big reason I'm talking about this chapter is that we had the fact that Isagi thinks that he needs to score a hat-trick to surpass Rin. And now that his plan has been destroyed, you would then expect Isagi to talk about how can I do it now? Now that I failed to score a hat-trick, now that Kaiser has stolen my chance and any hope of me getting a hat-trick, what can I do? What do I need to do to surpass Rin? What do I need to do to surpass Rin, etc.? And it'll just be never talked about ever again. It is simply put to the side, and Isagi's desire for a hat-trick is simply forgotten. We don't get any frustration, we don't get any acknowledgement of the desire, and we just don't get anything really, especially since it was supposed, as it'll be quote-unquote set up, like told to us later, that Isagi was too focused on his rivalry with Kaiser, his rivalry with Isagi, his rivalry with Rin, but we never actually got any type of closure for the fact that Isagi wanted and felt like he needed a hat-trick to surpass Kaiser and Rin. We just never got any sort of closure here, and it's simply brushed to the side. So this is one of the... And this right here, I remember at the time basically calling out a sort of bullshit on it, where why is it not acknowledged, why is it not moved on about? At least any sort of acknowledgement went a long way to really help. And this right here, the fact that the story outright dodges that fact, will be a symptom of the writing of this match. It's like one of the first symptoms of the match's writing going downhill, because this phenomenon will happen a lot more, a lot more. So let's head on. Now, one setup that was done pretty nicely is that we then get told the fact that Zentetsu needs to crush Kunigami to help Shido free himself, which will then be developed in one of the fucking lamest ways ever, but it'll still be developed at least. So after this, what do we get? We get the fact that we get the new setup that Isagi and Kaiser's chemistry is still incomplete. So, sorry, I had to take a bit of water. So after this, we gotta get a bit of a development on how Isagi and Blue Rose are competing with each other. Then here, it's not really a setup, etc. I'll just talk a bit about it. But one of the problems with this goal, with what happened here, is that we get told that Rin came this far to defeat Isagi ever since that day when I lost to you. I've dedicated all my life to defeating you in this fight, but I still don't feel like I've reached your level. And the problem here is that we don't really get this, because what happened right before is that Kaiser scored, Isagi was helpless in... he didn't manage to actually win over Kaiser, and we get told that Rin feels like he hasn't reached Isagi, even though he was way above Isagi for basically most of the Nell, basically in the entire duration of the Nell, and even currently. So there is a difference between what is shown and what actually happened. And on top of that, we get the problem that we don't actually see enough of Rin actually dedicating all of this to defeat Isagi. We just don't get anything. We got the fact that, oh yeah, I'll kill you, Isagi, etc. But this feeling of that he hasn't reached his level isn't really developed in any type of way. Especially, it doesn't work with the fact that, again, Kaiser is the one who scored right before. So why is Rin tweaking over Isagi and saying that he hasn't reached his level, even though he has been doing arguably quote unquote. I mean, no, actually he fucking disappeared from the match when Kaiser's goal was going on. But anyway, then we get told that oh yeah, Rin wants to use those murderers in basically his original ego, but he can't do it freely right now. So he'll basically use the fact that his desire for revenge is being killed to use it as a pressure to then awaken himself. So here, nothing special. The only setup you could say is basically that Rin needs to be able to use his OG ego without freely, which does make a setup for Rin basically being able to finally free himself from Isagi and Sai of sorts, or at least getting some understanding, awareness of it. Wait, what is there? After this, then we get Isagi being able to beat in the 2 versus 2 Rin and Nanase. And again, we could have seen a bit of frustration here from Nanase, just a bit to again go into that whole Nanase survival and being Rin's property, which isn't really developed in any way again. Yeah, for the freedom and restriction part, I'll talk about it when it'll at a more interesting moment, really. Then again, as I said, those are the first seeds where you see that the Kaisagi focus, the focus is more on Kaisagi, Kaiser and Isagi than most of the other characters. Like we totally dodged Nanase just to focus again on the Kaiser and Isagi in Basar Mission. So then, again, Kaiser and Isagi, nothing else, really, literally nothing else. Then Rin coming in to beat Kurona. Rin basically soloing the whole field. Rin, more Rin, again, etc., etc. Then, I'll talk about this later for this page. Nothing much. Rin. We get the setup for Rin's urges being life-risking destruction, which will be touched on in a good way, at least. That's what the match setup and the match did deliver on that to a certain extent. We then get Kaiser and Isagi together. Then we get a setup for Ness. Desire still clinging on to Kaiser. And what chapter is this? It's chapter 272. This will be why I'm typing it is really important, just to show again how those setups are badly, quote-unquote, badly handled. Again, another Kaiser Isagi Rin thing with the rock, paper, scissors. Then perfect, rock, paper, scissors. Well, I'll just put it Jangetpon. I don't know how you say it in Japanese, I don't remember. Anyway, I'll just put rock, paper, scissors, RPS. So the RPS thing basically tells us that a fourth person will break the balance of Kaisagi Rin. And this, so this is, we're at chapter 272, okay? We're at chapter 272. The chapter right after, 273, what happens? Rin destroys the whole field, yada yada yada. He immediately gets into a fucking scoring position that Kaiser and Isagi aren't going to be able to stop. And it's considered as literally a scoring opportunity. The chapter prior told us, and let's quote it to be specific, which means the slightest error or a glimmer of chance will create a condition for one of us to score a goal. It's about creating a condition. It's not about the goal. It's about creating a condition to score. We're told in one chapter that to create a chance, a condition to score, we will need someone other than Kaiser, Isagi, or Rin to break the structure. What happens the chapter right after? Rin gets into position to score, and no one could have stopped him. It's literally considered a huge scoring opportunity that Rin throws himself. So this RPS, rock, paper, scissors setup is literally broken, not even one chapter after it's been introduced. It's literally broken down in one chapter after its introduction. And that's, again, and you see, You know what? Let's continue instead of me not being able to talk, because I'm trying to find a way to explain it properly. So then again, chapter right after, Rin destroys the whole field, yada 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 yada. Okay, this right here, Isagi, genius of adaptability. This will be important. Just think of it as Isagi wants to prove himself right now. This is just Isagi wanting to prove himself. Okay. Nothing special. Anyway, then we have so now we have Charles awakening. Okay, right here, we get Charles finally awakening. So Charles awakening, quote unquote. We have Shido and Zentetsu. So not Shido and Zentetsu, Kunigami and Zentetsu. Being like Zentetsu finally being there to crush Kunigami, but there's again, as I talked about, the focus right now is more on Kaiser and Kaiser, Rin, and Isagi, more than Zentetsu and Kunigami. Like anything would have helped here. Just show that Zentetsu is doing his best outside of just him saying hyperspeed. Show more of his thoughts, and it would have helped giving more value to that rivalry, because like literally the Zentetsu and the Kunigami thing has less page space than Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin again. Even though Kaiser will actually have no importance in that goal at all. He will not have any actual importance. He will literally just get cooked immediately. So then we have Shido coming in, which ties into the match is supposed to be Rin and Shido versus Kaiser and Isagi. Problem is, the chapter right after, Shido is literally fucking forgotten immediately. He literally just, he's like, oh, running away. And the worst part is that we're being told the reason why he couldn't make it out is because Rin was going for something even more challenging, which is a point from a point that's too high for you to reach. To smash it to the left corner, I'll use a bounce shot. Problem is, we've seen that Shido is one of the most athletic players. Like most of his shots have been goals coming from volleys, coming from him shooting like really high, like in the air, etc. So for us to be told that Rin has even more, has more chances to win, like to get the ball, etc. It just feels like, no, you know what? No, I'll stop with this, because you know what? Let's take Shido's positioning. Shido is farther away from the ball, so it's okay. You know what? It's fine. But still, it could, like, Shido is one of the fastest players, but you know what? Let's forget that. I have to be quote unquote fair. So let's forget that. Then we get Rin shooting, even though he crashed with Isagi, which ties into I'll keep it. Into Rin's urges being life-risking destruction. So this setup is completed because he hurt himself and he feels amazing for it, etc. Again, we have the whole Rin and Shido supposed to be like coexisting, etc. with this page of which one of us is going to change the world and pass to him. Again, so now we get into the real bullshit. You see how the rock, paper, scissors setup was broken in one chapter right after it was introduced? Well, guess what? Kaneshiro bullshit us and now tells us once Zetsu started covering the exhausted Kunigami, Shido tried to break free and he became the fourth piece that threw off the balance between me, Kaiser, and Rin. We're being told that Shido is the one who broke off the balance between Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin, even though we have seen literally Rin getting a scoring opportunity without Shido or anyone else coming into the mix. So what happens, and this is again this is basically the same way. Yes, wait, let me just delete all that. Oh, I can delete that? Nah, it is whatever. I'll just erase it. Fuck it. Anyway, so the same way that I said with the Isagi hat trick, that what the story did is that it literally avoided it avoided the how can I say the fact that Isagi desired the hat trick and it acted as if it never happened. Similarly, the rock paper scissors thing was literally dodged over. It got destroyed in one chapter, but the story acts as if that one moment where Rin destroyed everyone also never happened. It literally avoids acknowledging the fact that Rin broke off the balance between him and Isagi and Kaiser without anyone else being introduced. And this right here, this act of the story avoiding this setup will be continued again and again and again, and we'll slowly get into it. So again, another moment where the story outright tries to bullshit us and kind of fucks it up, right? So then we're being told, okay, so here is where we get into the funky stuff. This is really where Microsoft Paint is big 25. I'm a beginning streamer, okay? I just begin, like, this is my third, fourth stream. I'm just starting out, okay? Leave me alone. So then we get into the setup of Loki got into the nail to have Charles awaken and use him, right? Use him, which is important. What do we get told? Oh, thank you for causing Charles to awaken. I hadn't planned on taking the field, but it just seems too fun. You made me want to play. So here we get into the beginning of the bullshit. So the whole point is that the channel misses some videos. Why? There shouldn't be any videos missing. You know what? Send me a DM on Discord or tell me which videos, and I'll look into that. Yeah, look, right, like the whole point is that Loki wanted to awaken Charles for himself, to use Rin for him, to use Charles for himself. But then that plot point is totally forgotten, and Loki will then proceed to never use at all Charles, and instead will just purely focus on trying to make Rin the best. Problem is, we have seen that he made Charles better to only for himself. So now, why would he develop Rin for a almost selfless reason? One of the most normal ways this could have been developed is literally just have Loki say, "Oh, you're surely going to be one of my teammates because PXG has put a bid on you. So I'll try to make you get better so that I have a better rival." So a sort of similar way to what Noah did with Kaiser, for example. This would have been a great way for us to understand why Loki is trying to help Rin. But the only reason that we're getting is literally it just seems too fun. And we never get any definition of what does that fun involve, what does it mean, etc. So we literally just have we don't get any reason except him saying it's fun, and we don't know what's fun. So this is one, again, of the... And this is literally the conclusion of the Loki is trying to awaken Charles. This is the moment it's concluded and never talked about again. And let me put big ass fucking X's on the things that have been handled really poorly. In the sense that, again, we just don't, like, we're told, oh yeah, it's fun, we don't know why it's fun, we don't know why is he doing it, like, it's just a mess, really. Like, why introduce Charles in the first place if it's just not use him in any way, shape or form, and focus on Rin without even giving us the real reason on him focusing on Rin, really. So then we have Gurimu, Igaguri. I mean, Igaguri, I won't talk much about it because, like, it's fine, really. Like, I think no one cares. I care, but I know most people don't care, so fuck it, whatever. So then Isagi being, oh, I want to devour you back, which did happen in the end, quote unquote. But another thing that ain't on your list, but what annoyed me was how someone like Karasu took forever. Yeah, and the reason I agree, but the reason I haven't put it on here is because I'm purely talking here about what the story tried to set up. So, setups that I've done poorly or avoided. So I'm talking only about what the story sets up, right? I'm not talking about setups that were hinted at, that were obvious, but just didn't come in here. And don't worry, Nero, you did miss the first part where I talked about basically why the match felt so long and a bit of like a rundown of the match so far, but it's fine, you can just watch it after. Anyway, let's continue. Rinitoshi, later fire, na. Don't misjudge, don't fly too high, don't you dare try to become geniuses, my little prodigies. So, Isagi, genius of adaptability, and then we have prodigies trying to be geniuses. Okay. Nothing here. Bite me, freak, I'm not some stepping stone for your evolution. My life doesn't exist to serve yours, or whatever Isagi said, right? Isagi then starts randomly saying, I'll prove to everyone that I'm a genius too, right? So, you know what? Why not? We don't really get any development to, like, as to how this gets into it. But you know what? It's fine, it's fair, it's fine. The problem is, as the story tells us right after, which we'll get into, when Isagi says he wants to prove he's the genius of adaptability, what he really means is more so, and I'll just skip a few chapters and we'll get back into it, it's fine. Because I want to really explain this and Isagi's development. Isagi basically says, what is a genius anyway? Up until now, I've automatically thought of anyone amazing as a genius. So literally what he's saying here is purely that he wants to prove himself. So here it isn't equal to Isagi wanting to play as a genius. It's Isagi wanting to be amazing, right? Isagi wanting to show himself off. Isagi wanting to basically show that he is, that his adaptability is something amazing, that he is someone who can win no matter what the circumstances are. Another thing that's handled pretty poorly is Loki's speed. What we get is that Loki steals the ball, blasts it off, and then with just one fucking burst, Isagi immediately goes into despair of thinking and logic are meaningless here. This is the abuse of physical talent. The problem is, why does this land so fucking badly? Is because we literally only have one double panel, not anything more. We don't for someone, because this is Isagi basically starting to fall into despair of sorts, right? Like, shit, is it over in just one play? Where problem is, how can I say it doesn't feel enough, because it's in only literally in how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 5 pages, we're supposed to get into the same amount of despair that Isagi is feeling, as if the game is really about to end, etc, etc. So it just doesn't land, because you obviously know as a reader that it's not going to end there, and there is not enough exposition for you to actually feel the pressure that Isagi is feeling. You just don't have enough shown to you, don't have enough proofs, you don't have Isagi trying to make up a plan to beat Loki for before he already starts going into, oh my god, logic and thinking are meaningless, because we don't even get to see thinking and logic. We don't get to see Isagi's quote here doesn't land because we don't have any amount of logic or thinking actually being put against Loki. We just get to see Loki running. Yeah, we know, but it's in story. No, but right here I'm just talking about the reason why it feels. Again, like the title of the stream is why did the PXG versus Battle Machine game feel worse? I'm talking about why does it feel worse, right? Of course, in canon, it makes sense. I'm just saying that in terms of how it's exposed as a manga, how it's exposed as the story goes on, it just doesn't land in any way at all, because we don't get to actually see thinking and logic going against Loki. We just get a double panel. How are we supposed to really feel, right? Why Isagi, though Loki is unstoppable, when you already saw him doing God Warp in the match against World 5 and Loki didn't do anything more insane than that? Yeah! You see, we just, again, it's really just that we don't get enough exposition, we don't get enough struggle, we don't get any type of resistance against Loki's speed in any way, shape, or form. He could have been thinking about it, but his brain was so fixated on Loki's speed. Yeah, and I'm saying, at least try to show. I'm just saying, if it was shown, it would have been way better, and it would have made it much more enjoyable, much easier for the pill to be swallowed, right? Anything really would have helped. So that's all I'm saying here. On how Loki's speed isn't, like, at this point, it isn't really used in any way, and it's kind of sad because, as we'll talk about later, this, like, instead of here, you could have just been, holy shit, this is insane, what are we supposed to do? And then you can have the last point, Tongue Monster Sound, because the problem it does, we'll get into it, fuck it, we'll get into it. Then we have Loki passing to Rin, and again, we don't know why. Why in the fuck? People can say, oh, but it'll be developed. It doesn't matter if it's developed after. Why the fuck do we not get any type of... how are we supposed to feel hyped? How are we supposed to... It just doesn't land at all, because we just don't get any sort of explanation except it's fun, and the fun isn't developed in any way, so... Yeah. Anyway. Then, especially since we get the Noah's definition of fun, or generally his ego compared to Loki, it just feels... Yeah. Then we have Igaguri, okay, whatever. The field is gonna change. Again, Loki focusing more on Rin than himself, we just don't know why. Again, just him being of one panel, being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help you because I want to see how far you can go, so if we're on the same team, I can beat you more, you can be a bigger obstacle for me, similarly to Noah, but whatever. Okay, so, then we have, and so, anyway, here, one of the worst, oh my days, we have Noah randomly, and I mean it, randomly saying the reason I joined this league wasn't for the team, it was to awaken your ego, because what I want is a rival who poses a threat to me. Someone like that would force me to evolve further and produce an entirely new me. I want to be even stronger. Problem is, Noah, as far as we have seen in the story, is someone who doesn't talk. He basically only reacts. He lets players do what's needed, etc, etc. And he basically just, like, he's all about, that's not the thing. But basically Noah doesn't talk. And when he talks, it's only if, to respond to someone, right? Like, the only moment we've seen him actually reach out for a player is when he helped Isagi, and the only moment he did, it was only because he was basically saying that he would do what he said he would, right? Oh yeah, I'll follow the most rational one on the field. So basically, just responding to Isagi and, like, seeing if Isagi, like, following through on what he said he would do. And what he said he would do, he only did it because, how can I say? Because Isagi asked him in the first place. And then we have, of course, the argument of, oh yeah, he was saying all that to help Isagi evolve. Problem is, right now, what he says right here, the story then goes on to say that he did, like, we never get any way of Noah saying, like, we get nothing of Noah basically saying saying that he said all this to help Isagi evolve, etc. Rather, he literally says, the door to Yoichi Isagi's ego, you try to use him, but they ended up getting used. So then, what the fuck is up with that? What was the point of this compared to the character that Noah has been for the entire duration of the manga? Noah has been a character who only talks when necessary. He's a character who only follows rationality. What the fuck was the rationality there? I'm just saying this is the most out of character moment ever for Noah. And it just, like, it's just there to force the story to evolve, etc. But what it just feels, it's so out of context for Noah. It just lands so fucking badly. Anyway, let me read the comments. Who asked? Yeah, literally who asked. I mean, Noah backstabbing was predictable. Somewhere down the line, he was way too chill. Yeah, but the problem is, why the fuck would he say it out loud? no one asked him, which is where when he usually responds. Like literally in chapter right after this, he only talks because no Loki got to him. Like Loki was like, oh yeah, he's your responsibility. So then this is just the most out of fucking context, out of character Noah we have ever seen. He's just there to force the plot, and he doesn't care for Noah as a character, really. So just wanted to say that. Anyway, this is just literally just to force again the whole Isagi being a stepping stone, right? It's time for Kaiser Impact. Bullshit, I'll crush all of you. Okay. Hey, Shitty Master, do you seriously just join? And again, we see that Noah, again, in the chapter right after, he starts to go more into character. He only responds and says things that are needed, and he only talks about things like only the necessary, only things when he's asked to, etc. That's basically it. Anyway, oh my god, and this is where it starts to really not talking caught me off guard. It's not that it caught me off guard, it's just that there's no sense of it. There is no real explanation following what Noah's character has been about to give it any meaning, or at least make sense of it. And nor does it try to make a case for it, really. So anyway, now let's continue. Then we have, of course, the Kaiser thing, nothing special here. Challenging the impossible. Okay, thing I want to talk about here, because this is important. Isagi thinks about how should he score his own goal, and he thinks logically. He's not focusing on himself. He's trying to adapt to whatever Kaiser will do, okay? And then we have, and look, this is what I was talking about. That kind of speed is inhuman. We're literally getting the same thing that we got before when Loki came in. So wait, it's chapter how much? 200, okay, so it should be 275 around this, no. So this is the same, literally it's trying to do the same thing that it did before, but it did it way better because we actually got a sense for Loki actually beating logic, surpassing Isagi's logic here. Compared to here, before we never actually got him to actually crush or fight against any type of logic from Isagi. So this moment is literally the same thing as here, and the reason why it lands much better is because we actually got a way to measure how fucking insane that feat was, on top of genuinely seeing it destroy logic, right? So this is to really explain why this moment just doesn't show anything, and why it's so, I would say it's literally useless, because you could have just anyway, let's not talk about could have. Just this moment compared to this one, same thing. This one lands much better, and this one is absolutely crap, really, in terms of setting up Loki's feat. Okay, let me just switch song. Okay, let's get back to topic now. Kaiser Impact is so slow. The Divine Fast, he reacted after he saw it and still stopped it. Jet counter, So here we could have, we get a bit more of a Zentetsu and Karasu, but again, not much. We're not getting actual character introspection, character thoughts. We're only getting feats, and so that's why it doesn't land anyway, right? But what is a genius anyway, etc., etc. What am I then? Because again, Isagi wanted to prove himself as someone amazing, so it makes sense here, right? What should I do? What can I do? Again, makes sense for Noah to say all this because he's only responding to Isagi, right? I'm someone who only continually adapts to geniuses. I'm just a talented learner. So here what happens is basically that Isagi wanted to prove himself as someone amazing, but then he realizes, oh, geniuses are amazing because they naturally have those sorts of abilities. I'm amazing only because I adapt to people, right? So I'm not really that amazing, right? It's not my actual talent, etc. which will then be touched upon right after, right? Anyway, more rain thingy. So basically, Isagi is starting to tweak the fuck out because he's like, oh, I'm not anything like them, right? I'm not a genius with inhuman philosophies, etc., etc. I don't have those physical abilities. Okay, another thing. Again, the Shido is here, but we don't actually see him being anywhere important in the story so far, so just doesn't land really. I want to beat Rin, I want to be best in the world, etc. So I can't imagine myself winning. So then we have the formula for evolution, yada yada yada. Nothing really crazy here. We'll talk about this later on. And then Isagi starts to go into about there's no way I can defeat a genius. The absolute plays that the geniuses make are impossible for me to try to pull off on the spot. I can't even imagine it. And so then, look, this is, I might have always thought as a talented learner. This will be important later on. So, Isagi acknowledges that he always thought as a talented learner, and he thinks that because he's a talented learner, he can't be the genius. But then Kaiser is there to pull him through and show him that, oh, there is indeed a way for him to be able to work. Okay. Now we get into the word genius versus talented learner is equal to self versus world style ego, right? It's because Isagi makes the connection that talented learner and world style are the same, that he then realizes that, oh, it's not the same way that it's not about how a self and world type are one is better than the other. It's just that they move around each other, right? So then he comes into the realization that genius and talented learner are the same thing. Problem is we don't get the actual transition for the freedom and the restriction thing. The freedom and restriction style or ego types are just totally forgotten and not mentioned at all. So here, I don't know if I wrote it. I didn't, but it's fine. Anyway, let's just say that the freedom and restriction types have been literally, again, remember what I talked about? Isagi avoided, rock, paper, scissors avoided. Now we have the self. No, not the self. We have the freedom and restriction types avoided. Acted as if it never happened, and it's never developed in any type of way, ever again in the match. Another thing that's, again, avoided by the narrative, doesn't do any effort or any attempt at trying to transition off of it, to talk about it, really. And again, look. Now we have Isagi saying, actually, I think I might have always thought as a talented learner, and we literally, again, saw it with the example of the free kick, where Isagi quite literally used logic, etc., to adapt to Kaiser the fastest to Kaiser, and so be able to score. But guess what? Right after this, he's saying, I was trying to use the same insane methods as the geniuses, but I'm not one of them. It's like, do you see? Do you see what the fuck the story is telling us? Oh yeah, I always thought as a talented learner, oh, I was trying to use the same insane methods as the geniuses. It just doesn't, it's not the fucking same, it's not the same. Are you guys seeing the same thing that I'm seeing right now? Are you guys seeing it? Are you guys seeing it? That's what I want to ask. Or am I crazy for, am I just clinically insane? Kaishiro forgot. He forgot. I mean, it's not that he forgot. I know, like, oh, it is. GG's got Wise crying. So yeah, again. So the story tries to portray something, crushes it, and acts as if nothing happened. It basically says, oh yeah, Isagi is a TL. Then again, avoids it. literally avoids the fact that Isagi fought as a TL and then tries to force in the fact that Isagi was trying to use the same insane methods up until now. My head is clear, I can do this. Up until now, I was trying to use, what is he saying? Nothing will happen unless my talent and effort align, so think like a talented learner. Again, Isagi could have came to this conclusion by himself. Okay, bro, Kanashiro. Like, Isagi could have came to this answer by himself, but again, we need to force the Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin thing. Again, we need to force it, right? Well, we have to. Anyway, that's what happens. So, anyway, we have think like a talented learner. How is Kaiser able to hold his own against his geniuses? And so the problem is we're being told nothing will happen unless my talent and effort align. But as we saw, his talent and effort were literally put into the line of thinking of a talented learner. Was it to the absolute extreme? It wasn't. But for the story to try to portray that Isagi was failing because he was trying to play as a genius is just totally disingenuous. To say that Isagi could tap more into his potential by trying to play even more like a talented learner, that's one way. But to outright say that he was trying to use the same insane methods is just total fucking bullshit. And the story even acknowledges it before. Anyway, I believe it was the way he was thinking of himself was wrong. Yeah, but again, his explanation of Tugan 2, it was pure logic, not the impulse. Exactly. Doesn't Kaiser challenge the impossible count as an inhuman philosophy that geniuses have? It doesn't, because I actually talked about it on my YouTube channel when I talked about the ego types. But Kaiser's defeat the impossible philosophy is one that relies on logic because it accepts the fact that there are things that are impossible. And Isagi and Kaiser takes pleasure in surpassing the impossible, meaning that the impossible wins. There is a limit that everyone can agree on. So that's why Kaiser's defeating the impossible is a logical quote-unquote framework. The story doesn't really explain it in a great way, because it tells us Kaiser is a genius. Legislatively, he grabs the feel through his senses. He's a talented learner. Thinking back now, all his words in action, even though those things seemed so incomprehensible, those were reasons and logic behind it, right? Even his Kaiser impact, a strike using the world's path. This is just like Isagi literally doesn't know if Kaiser had to think of it. Like, but it's never said at all. This is again just anyway. Isagi should never has the story told us. Oh yeah, Isagi should, like, in no way Isagi should know that Kaiser fought up the Kaiser impact. But anyway, you know what? But either way, it works because, as I said, the impossible is supposed to be something tangible that Kaiser can defeat, which shows that he thinks of the world when he thinks about the impossible. Anyway. If he was a genius thing, he would have went after Noah. He used logic and said, I can't be Noah until awakened. Yeah, didn't understand that much, sorry, Bachi. Yeah, Isagi learns a lot from Kaiser, but again, that's mostly Kaneshiro really forcing a lot of it, because honestly, we could have gotten, like, if you want another way, a really easy and simple way that this could have went, is you have Isagi being like, oh, if I continue on this path, I can't really reach the geniuses. I need to focus, like, have him try to use the advice from Noah here, which is like, discard the noise, you're too greedy. This is about mental selection. Prioritize the rationality deep in your mind. You are not God. If only one thing can be granted to you, what is it you desire? So again, we see like Isagi's whole return to zero. It was literally always like it was there already, right? So he lost track of it, but there could have been other ways for Isagi to go back to zero, right? So yeah. Anyway, let's go back into it. Protagonist feelings as a concept has never been forgotten. Characters are just much more aware of that piece. Yeah, I agree with this, Vencete. The worst that Gagamaru showed much better how TL can win than Kaiser did in his volumes. Kaiser as an example doesn't really work. Okay. Igaguri, yeah, I agree. Igaguri showed a much better example. Okay, let's continue on. Anyway, so here again, those two things show again the story outright avoiding something to force a narrative that doesn't work with what was set up prior, and avoiding the fact that it has shown something before that stops it from, like, basically put, Kaneshiro wants to show A, wants to show B. Kaneshiro wants to show B. The problem is that he has shown A right before, and A contradicts getting to B. So what Kaneshiro does is he literally fucking avoids A, acts as if nothing happened, to then force B, even though, as we have seen, it literally just doesn't fucking work. So this is one of the best examples. As we have seen, there was the Isagi hat trick, there was the rock, paper, scissors, there was the freedom and restriction, and there was the Isagi fighting as a talented learner to then being told he was actually trying to play as a genius. So yeah. Now let's continue on instead of getting into all this. Why is it always so why is it so binary that all geniuses happen to have self types and the talented learner types? Can there be geniuses who could be a war type? No, there can't be. There can't be. Why? Because the talented learner and genius thing are literally just a rebrand. They're the same thing. So really, it's just Kaneshiro trying to rebrand the concept using the same thing that he did before, right? And you want to know, you want to see again how this is total fucking bullshit. What Isagi is saying, what Kaneshiro is trying to portray. If we literally go into the moment where the world and self types were introduced, which should be around 253. Yeah, 253. We literally have Isagi saying, I need to know more about the world beyond me than about myself, and which ties again into the always fall as a talented learner, only to then being told, oh yeah, I was trying to use the same insane methods as geniuses, which is about locking on himself. So again, just doesn't really work. So the reason it's so binary is because it's literally just a rebrand of the self and world style egos, and because Kaneshiro, it just makes it easier for Kaneshiro to write. Even though he writes terrorism with it. He writes, like, as we've seen, it's fucking terrorism what he did, right? But still, it makes it easier to streamline things and quote unquote write with it. Anyway, said enough. Let's truly move on. Do the impossible, see the invisible. Row, fight the power. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. I got an OST. Let's put on some Gurren Lagann OST. K. No. Where is it? Ah, fuck it. Let me just put this. No. Okay. Okay. I'm fucking wasting time, but I don't care. I need to put it. Lots of old men with your XXX. No, it's not that. No, it's tiring. Spin. Okay, let's go. Okay, now let's get back on topic. Hold on. The thing that is used to present all four aspects of the ego types isn't binary. It's a black and white thing, emo, because the graph that was used is on a spectrum. It's just the way the characters talk about the... No, but that, again, that's what you... That's your way of interpreting it. But Isagi literally says it, right? Because peak performance can be split into two categories. It's about categories. It's not a spec. It's like it's self-style ego. It's not a matter of which is good about. It's a question of which mentality. It's really binary. It is binary. That's just how it is. People try to do it differently, but it is binary. That's just how it is, really. More Gurren Lagann watchers. Let's fucking get it, man. Anyway, let's get back on topic. Again, another thing is that we're then being told that Isagi needs to drop his rivalry I feel towards Rin, my malice towards Kaiser, and my admiration. The problem is we've never actually seen those things negatively impact Isagi, because as we said in the free kick attempt, where Isagi managed to wait. So we're in 23. In the free kick attempt where Isagi basically got to try to shoot. Oh wait, what the fuck? What? Oh no, does it not work anymore? Ah! No! Okay, fuck it. It's fine. Anyway, in the free kick attempt, what we got is basically just an no, Vincete. Actually, it is kind of binary. Wait, I'll show it. 272, 271. No, it's right before. So look, on the thing where Isagi shows it, it's literally like, it's not that he's on the spectrum. It's literally just he is freedom and restriction, self and restriction. So he is on that corner of the quadrant. It's really like, it is really way more like a like there might be the arrows, but it really is way more like how can I say, a binary type. You don't really see the specky type of way at all. But anyway, you know what? It's a debate. It's a debate. Isagi's on the spectrum. That's 100% sure. Like, and it's not even to shade. He is 100% on the spectrum. Like, this guy is genuinely. Isagi was using Kaiser Awakening as a baseline, trying to throw everything away. But yeah, we all know that wasn't happening. Yeah, and the problem is, again, it is like, it forces Isagi being reliant on others, even though we saw Kaiser literally learn that lesson by himself. So, kind of big drop in how to rate Isagi. But anyway, you know what? Fuck it. Let's continue on. We don't care. Then we have Isagi's whole genius thingy. Okay, so Prodigy's trying to be geniuses, which is, so this setup is fucking gone because, as we said, it was literally there but then avoided. It was like Kaneshiro literally bullshitted his way through that. So it is what it is. Isagi's Loki speed and thinking and logic are meaningless here again. Setup and was nicely done with the free kick. It was nicely done with the free kick, even though again it was like badly done right before. But you know what? Let's call it a day. This is done also. RPS, Nest still taking on to Kaiser, we'll get to it. Rin needs to be able to use his ego freely. This will be developed later on after this match, surely. Isagi and Kaiser's chemistry is incomplete. Zettetsu, this was done, but in a bad way, as we talked about. Natsu's survival, again, like, you know what, fuck it, let's just put it was absolutely badly done because it never got, like, more development into it. So really, it was just shit. Kunigami versus Shido storyline, So far, for the setups that are left, the match is supposed to be Rin and Shido versus Kaiser and Isagi. This is absolutely fucking dog shit. We have no... Shido is almost never there. Kunigami versus Shido, again, not really developed in any way, at least emotionally. Isagi versus Charles fight, Yuri versus Charles. Charles has been totally forgotten, as we talked about with the whole Loki stuff, where he like Loki, who was the one who wanted Charles to evolve, doesn't even fucking use him, or there's any transition done into that. This, as we talked about, was just not used. Kiora, we know, was also not used. Okay, let's move on now. Then we have Isagi throwing his emotions away. Yeah, whatever. Okay, here. How to beat a genius is with a talented learner, talented learner, chemical reaction. Now, this will be... So, first off, why is it badly done? First off, we have the fact that Isagi says this, that it's supposed to be about him and Kaiser. Problem is, it's not, they don't actually stop the ball. They don't actually stop the action. They don't actually beat Rin. Because the ball literally would have went in if it was purely about them, two talented learners versus Rin, if we follow their words, right? The ball would have literally went in and it would have been the end of the game. So this Gagamaru, because Gagamaru saved the ball in a really clutch way, that quote of with a talented learner is talented learner chemical reaction just doesn't fucking work, because there is a third person involved that isn't counted, and if we go purely by what Isagi and Kaiser did, they just fucking failed. Rin would have scored. So yeah, first off. Now, to be more precise, how to be the talented learner is with like how to be the genius is TL x TL. Problem is, Isagi has literally beaten geniuses so far in the manga. As we said, as we've seen, Yukimiya, because we won't talk about Baro, etc. Yukimiya is supposed to be a genius, right? Where is it said? Oh yeah. Let's go Yukimiya. Set up attacks. Yukimiya's dribbling lets him slip through. Wait, that's not what I wanted. Just like that, Seki ship. Yukimiya is another selfish genius. Isagi already fucking destroyed Yukimiya's ass, right? So saying that how to beat a genius is with a talented learner chemical reaction doesn't work, because Isagi by himself, as a talented learner, already beat and absolutely fucking destroyed Yukimiya, and generally would absolutely beat him, right? He is a better player than Yukimiya. So this quote doesn't work if you go purely by with the fact that geniuses and talented learners are supposed to be equal, right? And if you want to go even further into it, if you want to go with the idea that instead of it being about talented learners need to fight together to beat one genius, if you want to go about it the way that, oh yeah, if two talented learners are together and there's a genius above them, to beat the genius they need to to get past the wall of insurmountable talent, etc. They absolutely need to work together. Problem is, we have literally Snuffy, who we know is a talented learner, because in Isagi's whole speech about talented learners and geniuses, we literally have him being, because they are talented learners, and geniuses are able to be discovered because they are talented learners. Basically saying that Snuffy is a talented learner who has found Barrel. And we know that Snuffy is a talented learner who is in the world stage and is able to rival with geniuses, since he's literally, like, as far as we know, he is able to rival with geniuses on the world stage. So Isagi's quote doesn't work, or like the way that he's trying to portray this as the only way that talented learners can ever beat geniuses doesn't work, because we already have one example of Snuffy, with a talented learner that was able to climb his way up without necessarily, absolutely needing to throw, let me say it more clearly. Yeah, that a talented learner can beat a genius, really. Because Snuffy has 100% beat geniuses to get where he is. So it just, yeah. Anyway, the representation for our talented learners geniuses seems extremely strange and odd, because Isagi shouldn't be wrong with the presentation. And do you know why the presentation is off-putting? Because the presentation is not putting the stakes correctly. If you want, like, I'll basically explain why the presentation feels so ass. Wait, how would... Nouveau. Okay, so basically, if it was about talented learner versus geniuses, what we should get is basically a talented learner of equal skill versus a genius of equal skill. And then this would actually show us that a talented learner can beat a genius. The problem is, what the story actually gives us, it's two talented learners that are below a genius trying to surpass the genius. So the thing is, it's trying to make a general case by using something that isn't even a general case. If we really wanted to prove that talented learners can beat geniuses, you should have shown one talented learner really trying to beat one genius. Right now, he's trying to show two talented learners trying to beat one genius, which, as we've seen, they literally fucking failed because someone else had to be there to save their asses. That's why it feels so wrong, because it's not even what it's trying to tell us isn't what it's actually portraying. What it's portraying is two talented learners trying to rise up to one genius that's really above them. And how their chemical reaction, by throwing themselves, their emotions away, they're selling their soul, quote unquote, is supposed to be the thing that gets them to win. But it's not, and so you can't use this thing and try to then portray it as this. It's trying to get this and portray it as this, which is totally fucking wrong. Anyway, What's also funny is how when Karasu and Charles team up to stop them, it's presented as another obstacle they need to overcome, but it goes absolutely nowhere. Yeah, exactly. Great fucking catch. I wouldn't have highlighted it this way. So great catch, really great catch, Grobigas. No, Goribas. So yeah. Let me just switch up songs. We already heard it enough. What can we use? Is there? Yeah, let's listen to some real bangers. Okay, let's go. Okay, I can't actually talk with this shit in the background actually. Let's use this. That's better. So yeah, to get back on topic. Rocky Speed, how to beat. So yeah, this how to beat a genius with a talented learner doesn't work because it's not what it actually is. It's not what it actually is. It's trying to portray something. It's portraying something, and it is trying to force it as something else. Just doesn't work at all. So yeah, let's continue on now. Okay, wait. Projects trying to be geniuses. Yeah, okay. Let's continue. Okay, so again, the story will absolutely dodge the fact that Gagamaru is the one who saved it, because it literally says that was awesome. Just how much of that I calculated your monster? Well, aside from Gagamaru's save, but Gagamaru's save is the thing that actually saved them. Because if you only got the talented learner part, they would have literally fucking lost. They would have lost. It's because there was someone else outside of the two talented learners that they could win. So trying to brush off Gagamaru's save, even though it's the thing who actually saved them, because otherwise it would have been a failure, just doesn't fucking work. So again, how to be the talented learner, how to be the genius with talented learner chemical reaction doesn't work. It's not what it is, and it's trying to portray itself as something it is simply not. Also, yeah, LMAO, basically two talented learners teamed up and failed to stop a genius and technically got bailed out by a genius, right? Yeah, I'm sure, I mean, we don't know, but yeah, surely. It's just, yeah. Also, now the match, the end of the match is supposed to be talented learner beating a genius. It tried to portray this and it did absolutely fucking horrible, but it's what it's supposed to be about, the rest of the match, right? It's supposed to be about Isagi and Kaiser teaming up to end the Neo Egoist League together, with him basically being like, we'll prove that talented learners can defeat geniuses. We'll get into that later. Let's just say it's a funny ass fucking quote when you know how this game ends. Okay, anyway, let's get back on it. To overcome the geniuses, let's make a devil's contract. Make a devil's contract. Because basically we're supposed to know that Kaiser and Isagi still hate each other, even if they team up. Problem is, we'll get into it. What is this? Oh no, I don't want to get my ass copyrighted. Let's put this. Wait. Oh yeah. This is a better example of talented learners beating a genius. You have Isagi coming in, and then Kaiser is able to stop the ball. This is what should have been right before. If Kaneshiro truly wanted to show talented learners beating a genius, he should have had this being the actual chapter prior, the chapter where they stopped Rin, right? Because it's just like, if what we just saw was what happened here, this would have worked. but it didn't. It just had to they had to rely on someone else. So anyway, another thing, again, as we were saying, the problem is exposition, where things are being told but not really shown. We are like, oh yeah, I'll break your chain, yeah, I'll get it past, etc. We're getting plays, and they're getting constantly glazed, but we don't actually see the difficulty in set plays. Because, for example, what made how can I say? What made chapter 2 the lead up, like Isagi and Noah's team up genuinely work, is that we had action with no talking, and the only moment, like, it felt amazing because we saw the action and the action looked amazing, and so we could base ourselves and truly be like, oh yeah, this is fucking insane, right? And the only moment this was glazed by someone else, it was at the beginning of the chapter, and then it wasn't glazed as much, etc. Like, okay, yeah, when he beat Kaiser, but even then, it was just one panel. And what I'm saying here basically is that you didn't need glaze, you just had raw action, and then it felt cool because you could create your own sense of how cool this is. But here, we're getting like, okay, he taps the ball, and then he passes it back, 1-2. And this is supposed to be absolutely insane, even though it's something we have already seen before. It doesn't look visually cool. And the only reason we're supposed to be told that it's absolutely insane is because characters are telling it to us. Because when we really analyze it, what we're seeing, they're beating players that they've already beaten. The real problem isn't even in them, right? So it doesn't feel cool. It's the story trying to portray it as cool, but we've already seen those actions 20,000 of times in this match. The plays themselves aren't necessarily that cool, and just them playing normally without the voice, without the panels of the characters be like, oh, I'll break your chain, ooh, I ain't getting past, would have made it definitely 100% way more enjoyable and gotten a real sense of coolness, right? Instead of being like, oh, they're playing logically as one and not actually seeing the plays really. So, you know what? Anyway. So it ties into this. No, they're making a cutting edge design for a new era of soccer. But again, we're being told all this only for them to get blocked immediately right after. What the fuck new cutting edge design it is if it gets immediately blocked, right? Anyway, you know what? Okay. Exactly. Rule 1 of storytelling is show, don't tell. And Kaneshiro has went for tell, don't fucking show. That's the problem with this match. Like, ever since the moment we got into the Kaisagi thing, it's been that and that only. Anyway. Then we get Isagi and Kaiser getting beaten, but then Kaisagi being beaten, etc. Don't stop thinking, change it up, just bring out an idea of how to get past Karasu and Charles to win. Again, it's supposed to be like, we can't get a goal using normal means. And it's supposed to be how Karasu and Charles are supposed, again, to be important to a certain extent, right? And like, this is without talking about the fact that like Karasu got the ball, like got Metavision out of nowhere. And on top of that, the fact that... Can I zoom in more? Look, Karasu was literally to the left of Isagi and in front of him. He wasn't from behind, he was in front of him. And to the left, meaning when Isagi looked at the ball, he should have been able to see, like here, he should have been able to see Karasu on his left. What the fuck do you mean you didn't see Karasu? Like, you have metavision, you're supposed to use your peripheral vision. How do you not see Karasu coming in from in front of you to your side, and you're shocked when he's there? When showing the fucking metavision eyes. Oh my days. Anyway. Like, Kaneshiro has literally lost the fucking plot here. He doesn't care anymore. Anyway, let's move on. We're finally getting close to finishing the fucking, like, this is supposed to be only the like, no, actually we did do the second part base with the why it doesn't work, the talent versus learner. Oh my god, and then we have to get into the Rin and Isagi, Kaisagi, Anyway. Before I continue, do you guys have any questions, anything to add? just asking because I've been talking for a while now and wanted to know how do you guys feel about the stream so far? Do you feel I'm yapping too much? What do you guys think? I'm sipping wine and enjoying my Sunday evening, man. Let's get it! That's what I fucking like to hear, man. That's all we're waiting for. We're getting to the best part. I mean, yeah. The best part, quote unquote. The funny part, there was potential setup for Kawasu Metavision, but they did nothing with that. Yeah, they just did fucking nothing with it, man. Like the moment where he was like, oh yeah, Bastard Munchen is evolving, I can't catch up to them, etc. Anyway. I will just listen to this in the back while doing my assignment. Oh, glad. Good job. Glad to know you're studying and all. Glad to know you guys are enjoying. And yeah, let's just continue if there's nothing more. The Charles I. Oh my days, don't get me started. I had fucking forgotten about this. Oh shit. Anyway, we'll get back to this another time. Well, let me just take. Fuck it. I need to take a sip of beer. Oh my god, this is genuinely pissing me off. I need to chill out for a bit. Wait a second, guys. The more I'm reading this, the more I'm analyzing this match with you guys, the more I'm getting fucking. Oh my days. Oh my days, Kaneshiro, you are one fucking guy. Oh my days. Anyway, let's get into it. Time to lock in. I've got plenty of ideas too. Okay, so then we have the match is supposed to be Rin and Shido versus Kaiser and Isagi, and most importantly, Kunigami, Shido and Rin working together, like coexisting. It was supposed to be one of the big things of this match, and it got developed in one fucking page, and the worst part, it was only Shido who did it. Literally, right? It was only Shido, and Rin himself didn't actually do anything. He didn't pass to Shido in any way, right? Trying another life, yeah, whatever. Like, we see him, you can't stop my explosion, passing to Rin, and we never get to see it anyway for... we never see Rin doing the same. Actually, I'll get to it. Anyway. So, the Shido and Rin working together, coexisting, absolute fucking dog shit execution. No, I'm not listening to this. I'm not getting copyrighted. Actually, if I have to get copyrighted, it would be by Save Me, but I'm fine with this song copyrighting me. Right, egotists. So we have then Yukimiya getting into the game. Isagi, like, Yukimiya randomly getting fucking Predator Eye out of nowhere. Like, no lead up, no nothing, just straight up fucking ass. And how to use my ego, then yeah. Again, the Charles Eye, which was never explained, it just came out of fucking nowhere, whatever. Here it comes. My best move right now is direct one to pass with you, Ness. Come on, pass it, become a pawn for our victory, whatever. Then Ness, okay, so. Last time we saw Ness tilting on to Kaiser, it was in 272. It took up to 288 to finally get a bit more of a development for Ness. It took, and this is without counting the breaks, it literally took more than 16 fucking weeks before we got anything more of Ness, right? 16 fucking weeks. I don't know if you guys realize how fucking, like, let's say four weeks for 1 month. Like, oh my. Anyway. Moving on. Hey Ness, give up on soccer. No, I don't want to. This is no place for pigs. I don't have a reason to play. Besides making you the world's best, talking won't make you understand. It's not like I'm still angry at you, I just don't care. Again, like... So, here... No, we'll get into it with the Kaisagi incident. So far, let's just continue on. Fuck it. That's a red hot counter. This was totally... How did Rin stop us? Rin randomly coming in to give the answer to Isagi instead of giving more. So, yeah, whatever. Okay, so here Isagi geniuses can adapt to us talented learners, then Rin literally adapts to them by blocking Magnus. Why? I won't even bother on the details anymore, Blue Rose. I'm just letting it pass, really. And if that happens, okay, so here one of my problems is that basically what the story and Isagi tries to portray is that if I try to move myself away, I'll have less freedom and my coordination with Kaiser will suffer even more. So basically he's saying that the only way for the new Bastard Munshin to work is if he works with Kaiser, and guess what? We know how that fucking went in the leaks. So, if my coordination with Kaiser suffers, the new Bastard Munshin will be obliterated. And we saw how that went with the nesting in the end. But anyway, I'm just leaving it here. So then after that, we do have the 4 meter space things with Isagi and Rin, but I'll get to that. I already touched on that last time. Okay, so here we get another... Okay, so... Oh my day. This is so painful. This panel is painful for a reason I'll get into when I talk about the Isagi incident. I'm saving it on the side. Oh my days. My cat just jumped on my fucking PC. I thought he was going to fucking, how's it called? Turn off the PC. But we're chilling. Anyway, let me put... Wait, why can't I... Wait, what the fuck did my cat do? Okay. Hey, stop pushing things. Anyway, I'm keeping those panels on the side for the Isagi incident. Anyway, then we have Kaiser adapting to Rin, and again Kaiser, Isagi, Rin glazing, etc. So like again, the match just keeps being about them, and no one else is given any sort of attention really. So that's that. And why again the match feels so long because it's always about them. Then this absolutely ass fucking chapter already, like I won't get much into it. Whatever. Okay. Karasu versus Hiyori setup, where we're supposed to be having like having a duel about the two of them, like showing at least some narrative value. But guess what? We're getting finally narrative value for Karasu and Hiyori. Well, guess what? Hiyori literally blitzes through Karasu without any of the said narrative value that we would have gotten being there. The masterclass of the final Hiyori versus Karasu showdown should have its own video. I mean, again, it doesn't need to have its own video because, as I said, it always ties into the fact that the entire match feels so long because it's solely about Kaiser, Isagi, and Rin, and never about the others. And the one moment we could have gotten something else, boom, not developed at all. Anyway, I can only destroy one of them. Whatever. We don't care. I'm a beam like his father. Hey. I go Mario, Mario said, hey. I go Mario. Wait, oh no, my cat is sitting on the fucking keyboard. Shit. I'll just change the song. Otherwise, I'll just keep singing that song and I won't actually analyze anything. No! Oh no! I fucking Anyway, let's get back to it. Yeah, nothing much. Again, we get some nest thingy, only to then not have any, like, we get the I. Actually, no. Yeah, we do see more. Yeah, we do see more nests, but anyway. Yeah, that's pretty much it after that. Then we have, of course, the raw leaks, which I already analyzed. And the Kunigami versus Shido conclusion is just not there. But you know what? It'll get concluded the next time. Anyway, we're done with this match then. We're done with the sort of run-up into the match. So now let's look at all the setups that have been given inside of the match. And then just not developed at all. Let's run through them a bit. Loki got into the Nail to have Charles awaken and use him. Absolutely butchered. Like, acts as if it was never there. Loki doesn't use Charles. There's no real reason given to us, etc. Speed game. Shido and Rin working together, coexisting. Absolutely, like, it just isn't used at all. It's developed in the worst of ways possible. Doesn't really have any importance, even though, again, the match was supposed to be about Rin and Shido versus Kaiser and Isagi. What it turned into is just Kaiser and Isagi versus Rin. Kunigami versus Shido storyline, absolute fucking ass. We don't have a conclusion yet, but maybe we might get it, we'll see. Isagi versus Charles fight, Hyori versus Charles. In the end, guess what? Charles turned out fucking useless. Narratively, because Charles as a character got no one to develop further. He had no impact on anyone. That's the core of it, really. Charles had no impact on anyone in the match as a character, and that's the problem. In the end, that's the problem. Most of the characters have had no impact on any of the other characters. Anyway. Isagi versus Charles fight, yeah. Nana's survival and being raised properly, absolutely not talked about anywhere. Isagi's two-gun volley still has more to show via faking the goalkeeper or generally staggering his shot to like fuck up the goalkeeper, nothing. Isagi thinks that he needs to score a hat-trick to surpass Rin, absolutely avoided by the narrative, doesn't even try to make a case for it. Kira, to not even know who he will side with, the guy has just been fucking avoided at all, totally forgotten. Zentetsu needs to crush Kunigami to help Shido free himself. Was there, but again, narratively doesn't really have that much importance. Has not really, like... Shido himself, when he was free, that did absolutely nothing. Isagi-Kaiser chemistry is completed. Rin's life-risking urges was completed. Nest clicking onto Kaiser was developed, but took fucking months to actually come. And when it came, it was rushed in literally a few panels. The rock, paper, scissors, literally the most absolute dog shit of the whole setup that was absolutely destroyed the chapter after it was introduced. Isagi genius ability wanting to play amazingly as his genius. We already talked about it, prodigies trying to be geniuses. Loki speed, we saw that the second example of it was way better than the first one because the second example had Loki actually showing his speed off against logic, against plays, etc. Instead of just glazing panels. But it was concluded in the end. Genius versus talented learner is equal to self versus world style ego, but then rather freedom and restriction are totally forgotten. They're not talked about in any way, shape or form. How to beat a genius is with a talented learner chemical reaction. As we debunked, it's not that. It's talented learner X talented learner against a genius that's below them, and the story is trying to portray it as something that it is not. The end of the match is supposed to be a talented learner X talented learner beating a genius. For those who have seen the leaks, we know how that went. Make a devil's contract. That for the Kaisagi thing. Kaiser and Isagi still hate each other. If my coordination with Kaiser suffers, the new Bastard Machine will be obliterated. As we've seen, it didn't matter in the end because of the nest thingy for the last goal. And the Karasu versus Hyori setup, absolute fucking dog shit, but it was concluded, you know what? It was concluded, it wasn't forgotten. So we have how many setups that are either totally avoided or generally like act as if they just don't exist or like didn't matter in any way, shape, or form. We have one. You know what? No, Shido and Rin coexisting. It was done. It wasn't forgotten. Nase Survival 2. Isagi needs to think that he needs to score a hat-trick, surpass Rin 3. Rock, Paper, Scissors 4. Prodigy is trying to be geniuses 5. As we've seen with Isagi, like saying, oh yeah, I was always trying to be a talented learner. I was always fighting as a talented learner, but then telling us, oh yeah, I always fought as a genius. So we have 5, yeah. Geniuses were, no. How to beat a genius is with talented learner, chemical reaction 6. The end of the match is supposed to be again talented learner beating a genius 7. If my coordination with Kaiser suffers, the new Bastard machine will be obliterated 8. And I could have went way more in details to show how many more things have been that way, but you know what? It's all good. I have a concept of, in my opinion, concept of luck got changed. Initially it was needed to be created, now it has become a random chance someone happens to get. Yeah, it's just... I won't delve into that topic. I'm already tweaking my ass off currently, trying to find ways to talk about all this in a understandable manner. Because, like, I'm saying all this to you guys, but if you guys know how badly it is happening in my head for me to, like, try to not tweak out over every single thing I link towards, like, ugh, it's a mess. Anyway. So yeah, we're pretty much done with those. So with those 3 parts, we're done. Now we can head on to the. Oh no! Rin, Isagi, Incident, Kaisagi. No! Can I end the stream there? I don't want to talk about this. I'm gonna fucking tweak my ass off. I don't want to talk about this. Can I just end the stream? Yeah, might as well finish. No, but yeah, you know what? I'll do a part 2. I'll do a part 2 instead of finishing it all here. Because like I'm not ending all this in one go. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, it's okay. Like I don't feel myself being able to finish all this, so I don't know. Yeah, I'll just, yeah, it's been 2 hours. It's already been 2 hours. What the fuck? Really? Oh shit. Yeah, I guess I'll just end it there. Let's call it a day here, and I'll do a second part of the stream. I'll do a second stream some other time. To talk about those 3 things more specifically. So yeah, I'll leave you guys there, and yeah, have a great one, fellow egoists.